Welcome back to another episode. All right, so it is currently 6:40 p.m. if you're just tuning in, and it is the 27th of January 2026. How are you doing? Welcome back. So, couple of couple of minutes ago, President Trump was in he's probably still in Iowa right now, but he gave this speech a couple of minutes ago, or this speech ended a couple of minutes ago, and we're gonna talk about this speech because he spoke about bigger checks and lower prices. Okay, some people have been saying that gas prices is going down and affordability is coming back to the United States. I don't know if that's true. Is that true for you? Is that the case for you as well? I experienced lower gas prices during Christmas time. It's been a while I actually got gas because I really don't go out. I really don't drive like that, like I used to. But yeah, so let me know if you guys are experiencing lower prices. And he also spoke about bigger paychecks. Are you guys experiencing bigger paychecks? All right. When you have a little girl in the house, you got to watch out. Okay. So, with that being said, we are going to analyze this speech and we are going to react to it. I'm going to react to it and then we're going to go from there, okay? So let me know what you think in the comment section. Let's have a good time and join the channel if you haven't joined the channel. And yeah, here we go.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm thrilled to be back in the great state of Iowa with so many proud, hardworking American patriots, which is what you are. It's an amazing state. What a place. Boy, do we have some victories here. Were they the greatest? So exactly 2 years ago this month, it was the people of Iowa who put us on a rocket ship back to the White House. It was a rocket. That was a quick one. After a rigged election, we had a rigged election. I said, do we do it again? And I said, I think we better do it again. Not too many people who would have said that. But we did so well the second time, I said, well, we won twice, we got to do it a third time. Should we do it a fourth time? Four victories. Four victories. We got the right team over there. The right team over there. That would be easy for you. That wouldn't even be work. But you came out by the thousands on a cold and snowy winter evening. Remember that beautiful evening? And together we won the Iowa caucuses in a 30-point landslide. That was great. I'll never forget it. It was so freezing. You think it's cold now? That blew it away. Whatever happened to global warming? You know? Now it's, it's like one of those things. But it was the coldest night. I remember it was way below zero. And they say, sir, you don't have to come till 10 or 11 o'clock because a caucus takes longer. Then I got a call at, let's say the polls close at 7. Sir, you've won. I said, I won what? They told me 10 o'clock. They can't announce. They said, you won by so much. They just called it at 1 minute after 7. So, right? So we made the journey. And we made that journey through all the cars and everything else, and we made a speech, but what an evening that was. Then in November, we won the state by a massive landslide. That was incredible in the election. And we then went on to win all swing states, all 7 of them. They said 7 swing. Well, he could win 4 of them. He's doing very well, but we won 7. We won the Electoral College 312 to 226. We won the popular vote for the first time of any Republican in many decades by millions and millions of votes. And we won a category that's very important. We won 86% of all counties in America, 2,700 to 525. How about that? Other than that, we didn't do too well. So now we're back where it all started to celebrate the greatest first year of any administration in American history. They say that. Even the radical left is saying, only we did a lot of things. 12 months ago, Joe Biden handed us a mess. We inherited the legacy of record high inflation.
Another thing is he's one of the only president that have won the presidency and also keeps on doing rallies around the United States. He's doing rallies around the United States. He is the current president of the United States and he's still doing rallies around the United States. Like he's campaigning for another election. I don't see how he gets the energy to do all of this flying around, talking event, and still handling international conversations, the economy, what is going on around the United States. So much is going on in the world that, requires his attention, but he still finds time to do rallies as well. I don't know how he finds time to do all of this stuff, but his schedule must be going crazy right now.
Highest inflation in the history of our country. They say the fake news, ooh, that's a lot of fake news. No, the fake news said it's 48 years. I remember recently I said the highest inflation in the great path of John Deere. We got the chairman of John Deere here, chairman and CEO, that's pretty good.
And he's talking about John Deere. Remember when he was talking about John Deere was gonna put tariff on John Deere? You guys remember when he spoke about John Deere? And now President Trump is like, well, John Deere is in the building. That's what I'm always saying. Like, as long as you have a sit down conversation with the person you're having an altercation with, it's always almost going to end up in a handshake. And that's what's going on right here. He used to speak badly about John Deere, and now, well, he's praising John Deere. And John Deere is in Iowa, you know, in attendance right here.
I even signed a John Deere hat for him. He said, I'm going to put this in the museum. I said, that's good. No, it's a great company. And you just said you're opening up 2 massive plants because of tariffs. You're opening up one in North Carolina.
Shout out to Mr. Busky. Thank you for tuning in. God bless you. If you're here watching, thank you for being here. Like and share. And if you're here, put a comment so that I can give you a shout out, okay?
Someplace else. And you're expanding all over the place. You're doing a great job. I bought a lot of John Deere stuff.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of John Deere. It's a great company. It's an honor to have you. Thank you very much.
Shout out to John Deere. And of course, John Deere is like a huge American company. So they were going to move to Mexico, according to President Trump, when he was campaigning. Remember what he said? When he was campaigning, he said, John Deere, I heard John Deere was going to go to Mexico. Well, I'm going to put tariff on them and they're going to have to stay in the United States. But now he's saying they're opening more factories in the United States. He spoke about one in South Carolina or North Carolina right there. So, of course, people were wondering, is tariff going to be good for the United States? Is tariff going to wreck the United States? Well, unfortunately, tariffs did not wreck the United States. You see what happened? Like, sometimes you have to just be patient and see how things would play out. And things are not really playing out as bad as people anticipated. Everybody was saying that Trump is going to wreck the economy. He doesn't know what he's doing. Well, doesn't look like the economy is wrecking down.
This has been the most dramatic 1-year turnaround of any country in history in terms of the speed. I really thought it would take us 2 or 3 years to do what we're doing. We're the number 1 country anywhere in history in the world, anywhere in history for investment coming into the country. And it's amazing. And it's because of tariffs. And it's also because of the fact that we had such a tremendous November 5th. That November 5th brought spirit back to our country, came back. One thing I think which is so important is If you remember, a year and a half ago, we couldn't get people to enlist in the military, any of them. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, any of them. The Coast Guard, Space Force. I love Space Force, right? We couldn't get them, and even police departments, they couldn't get anybody with a uniform that represented the country. You couldn't get them. And today, we have the single greatest recruitment numbers in the history of our military. The police forces are loaded. Law enforcement is loaded up. And everybody wants to be a policeman, a fireman. They want to be in the military, any branch. I mean, we literally, they couldn't get them. A year and a half ago, nobody wanted to be in the military. Now everybody wants to be in the military. It's an amazing thing that's happened, an amazing turnaround. And all because we have a president who does something very simple, puts America first, right?
He's talking about himself.
Thank you. So under my leadership, economic growth is exploding to numbers unheard of. They've never had them before in recent times, and we're just getting started.
It is wild. It is just so unbelievable how people were saying there would be an economic collapse if this man became the president of the United States. If he became the president of the United States, everybody was saying, well, he's going to wreck the economy. But the economy seems to be doing better. Inflation seems to be going down. GDP has increased. Shout out to Mr. Busky. And the debt ceiling is going down. Oh.
You know, the great, big, beautiful bill, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security for our seniors. Do we have any seniors in here? Do we have any seniors in here? One of the fake news said he did that because he doesn't want to pay tax on his Social Security. Don't you believe? That's what I never thought of. These are sick people. But despite the fact that we've just really started, it's just kicking in because we inherited such a horrible situation with all of the high prices and the inflation and everything else. And by the way, the open borders, we had millions and everything you see today wouldn't happen. They opened the borders, but we had a 5.4%. And since the election, the stock market is at 52 all-time highs, adding $9 trillion in value to your savings, retirement account.
Now, the stock market, man, everybody knows that. That is going crazy. That's going bonkers. If you invested in the stock market before he became president, by now you have seen at least 500% increase. It's wild. But it's all the way up and it's record highs. S&P 500, Dow Jones. Bitcoin was going all the way up one time and then it's down now, but it's going to go back up. But I really don't know so much about Bitcoin. So if you guys are invested in Bitcoin, that's personal. But the stock market, like the standard S&P 500 and Dow Jones and all that index ETFs and all that stuff, is definitely all the way up. So you should be looking into the stock market if you haven't. And also gold and silver. Oh my goodness. Gold crossed $5,000, right? Who is invested in gold? If you are invested in gold, put it in the comment section. Gold has gone past $5,000. I don't know if it's retraced, but it went past $5,000, and that's the first time in history. President Trump, I'm telling you, President Trump, hey, he's not perfect, okay? Trump could never be perfect, okay? He's not perfect. But there are some things that he knows how to do, all right? Which is get the house in order, all right?
And 401ks. So 401k people, I mean, of which you got a lot of people. Does anybody have a 401k in the audience? A lot of people. So you're setting records, right? The highest it's ever been. They say this, the good stock market, they say, well, this stock market, they can't get, they just try so hard. This stock market doesn't affect the middle class I say, it does. What about a 401k? What about all the other things? What about the fact that they're making more salary than they've ever made? But the stock market's the highest. How is John Deere stock doing? Great? All-time high? It's all-time. Everyone, I don't have to even ask the question. I mean, I made a lot of people rich. Me, I just keep working. I made a lot of people rich. I made a lot of people rich that I don't even like. I got a lot of people that I don't like at all, and I've doubled their net worth. But after 4 years in which Biden got less than $1 trillion in new investment, think of it, he took in substantially less in 4 years than $1 trillion. We secured commitments for a record-breaking plus $18 trillion. So in 1 year, we did over $18 trillion, and he did less than $1 trillion.
That's another thing he knows how to do. He knows how to make money. He knows how to make deals. He knows how to prosper. He knows how to be successful. Not a lot of people know how to be successful. Okay. And finally, we have a president who actually knows how to be successful. He's been successful all his lives. He's failed, obviously. To be successful, you have to fail. Okay. There's no success without failure. So he's successful right now. I mean, he's the president of the United States. Like, this is America's president. So of course he's successful. Okay. Now you could argue back and forth, but his personal life before he became the president of the United States is like is he's different. He's different. He was a developer and he made a lot of money. He failed multiple times because people are gonna say, well, he filed for bankruptcy. You know, what makes him a good businessman? To be a great businessman, you have to fail a lot of times. Okay, and he failed. He's failed forward, and now he's the president of the United States. So, hey, he knows how to make money. If one thing you want to know about is money, he knows how to make money. He knows how to pump the economy, and he knows much more about branding. So right now, I think he's branding the United States. That's all I can say. He's branding the United States. You cannot just come into the United States if you're not properly documented. Okay. That's what I think he's doing. He's branding the United States. He's bringing in all this cash investment from, the Saudi Arabia and anybody who's willing to negotiate and, work with the United States. He's doing it. He's doing it. People thought tariff was going to be bad for America, but it's not. Okay. So I got to give him props for that. I got to give him props for that. Of course, there's so much more that needs to be looked into and fixed, or better still, worked on. But it is step by step. He basically just got there last year, so he just turned 1 year old. So let's see what this second run is going to look like.
Just over 1 year ago, under Sleepy Joe Biden and the radical left lunatics, we were a dead country. We were a dead country. I'll tell you, 1 year ago, a little more than 1 year ago, we were a dead country. The king of Saudi Arabia told me that. You've heard me say it. He said it better than anybody else. He said, I can't believe it. A few months ago, he said, a year ago, you were a dead country. Now you're the hottest country anywhere in the world. He said, I can't believe it.
He likes saying that.
And today I'm pleased to announce one more historic investment. The great American company that we just talked about is doing so much. I have to give it really. I buy so much equipment from so many of the people in the. We have a lot of very successful companies in here, but I know it's a very special deal because John Deere is doing $70 million in factory in North Carolina. It's brand new, the best in the world, and I think it's going to pay off very, very big. And if it doesn't, I have nothing to do with it. But if it does, I'm going to take full credit. But what it is an excavator factory, as I understand it, and it's going to be the only excavator factory. In other words, excavators. We all know I love those excavators. Believe it or not, I know a lot about them. We don't make them here. This is going to be the only excavator entirely made in the United States of America. So that's good. That's good. I love it. I love it. It's great. And they'll all come. I hate to tell you, but they're all going to be coming too. You're going to have some competition, but you'll be ahead of them. If congressional Democrats had their way this year, would right now be facing the largest tax hike. So they wanted to give you, this is what I was running against, the largest tax hike in the history of our country. I wanted to give you the largest tax cut in the history of our country. And if they won, this country would be cratering right now. It would be cratering. So I've cut a record number of job-killing regulations. The reason our job numbers are so good, and remember this, I've cut hundreds of thousands of federal jobs. Now, if I didn't do that, our numbers would be even more through the roof. Or I could get them. You know what they do? In order to have decent numbers, they hire 1 million people. You hire 1 million people, all of a sudden you're down to 3.5%. We don't do that. We get rid of that job where you have 10 jobs for every, you have 10 people for every job. And they are all now, and they hated me. They hated me. Now they love me. You know why? They all got jobs in the private sector making twice as much money as they made from the federal government, sometimes much more than that. So a year ago, they hated me, and now they love me. But it includes dozens of burdensome regulations that were crushing our amazing farmers. We love our farmers. We won this thing. I think I'm at 97% with farmers. Well, who the hell is voting for Kamala? You know, it was a crazy election because we were doing great against Biden. Our hope, nobody even knew who the hell Kamala.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this. Whoever is going to be the next presidential candidate for the Republican Party would have to take President Trump on the road with him or her for campaign. Because this man, he knows how to crowd control. He knows all that stuff. He's been doing this for decades. He's a professional. So I don't know who's gonna be the next, presidential candidate for the Republican Party when the midterms or whenever they get that nomination going. But that person would have to take President Trump on the road because President Trump, he's just that guy. He knows how to move the crowd. Yeah, I don't know if anybody could move the crowd like this guy. Maybe JD Vance. Maybe JD Vance. And Marco Rubio says if JD Vance runs for the presidential election, he's not going to run for it. So JD Vance most likely.
Was. All I knew is she was the border czar. We had millions of people pouring through, and she was the border czar. So I like that. But I will tell you, the amazing, we didn't know much about her. And, when you're running a campaign, you're focused on the person you're running against. So we're running against Sleepy Joe Biden. Crooked, I call him Crooked Joe, Sleepy Joe. They're both accurate. And we're running against him. All of us, and he's way down in the polls, down by a lot. And all of a sudden, they take him out and they put a new, this is like, I told Dana White the other night, it's like taking a fighter, putting him in, he's getting the hell beat out of him, you take him out, and you put a new fighter in. I said, that's not fair, but that's what happened to me. The stuff that happened to me can only happen to me. But I repealed the Biden's EPA ridiculous water restrictions to keep federal bureaucrats off your land and out of your business. That was a big one. That was a big one. I terminated the so-called diesel exhaust fluid requirement. You know what that is? Saving family farmers more than $1 billion a year, and we're going to do a lot more. We're going to do something on tractors. They never took we did it with cars. We took all that nonsense off the cars. You couldn't start your car. You'd have to go to MIT to get somebody to fix your car with all the crap they had on it in order to save a quarter of it lasted this much little tiny bit of gas. These people are crazy. And I'm going to do that.
One thing is for sure, when President Trump's term is over, everybody complaining right now and saying, well, we don't want him to be the president, impeach him, or God, I wish he never was the president. Everybody's going to miss President Trump because his sense of humor is out of this world. He's a comedian and he's a president at the same time. He's a businessman and he's a grandpa at the same time. It's like you're getting a whole bunch of personality in one person. Like you never know what he's going to say. He's not boring. You're excited every time he's talking. Or maybe not excited, but you're like, it's so funny that you must be watching President Trump is like watching a show. He knows how to put on a show and he also knows how to make a deal. So he knows both sides of the coin, basically.
I think for tractors too, because we're going to get the tractors back where you don't have to be a PhD in order to start your tractor, in order to keep the environment clean. So much nonsense. I think it makes the environment dirty, actually. And very importantly, on day one, I kept my promise to the people of Iowa and abolished the insane electric vehicle mandate, which would have obligated you to go out and buy an electric car, but it would have obliterated a thing called ethanol. Do you like ethanol? Is it big? A lot of people are asking me about ethanol. I don't know. Do you want me to do something with ethanol? Maybe. After years of the United States getting ripped off by other countries on trade, I'm standing up for the workers and the farmers of our country like no other president has ever. No other president has done this. I mean, no other president has done this. I could have had an ACC presidency. I'd probably have this little piece of ear back, you know? Could have it, and I wouldn't have to listen to lunatics like this up there.
Oh my God. Oh God, he said would have the piece of his ear back. I would have the piece of my ears back. Like a lot of people have been asking, what happened to the ear? Did the ear heal so fast? Like how did he heal so fast? A lot of people are talking about his ears. But now he just said he would have a piece of his ears back if he didn't run for this position. He's a comedian. I'm telling you guys, President Trump is a comedian, basically. This man got shot at, lost a piece of his ear, and is making a joke out of it. That's wild.
I wouldn't have to listen. Isn't that nice? Thank you. Boy, they're good here. Do we love our law enforcement? They work very quickly. But under Sleepy Joe, we had the largest trade deficit in world history. But in 1 year, I've slashed our gaping trade deficit by a staggering 77%. How about that? What about that? That's pretty good, right? 77. Nobody's ever seen that. You know, if you slash your trade deficit by 1%, you're like a genius. They say, oh, he's very electable. He's not so electable. I did 77. I did something else, favored nations on drugs. We now are paying the lowest price anywhere in the world for drugs. In other words, we're matching favored nations. It's called most favored nations. Every other president tried for it. They didn't try very hard. They didn't get anything. I got it done. I got all the nations to agree. You think that was easy? I said, if you don't agree, we're going to put tariffs on you. They said, we agree. We agree. So you'll have a pill that costs $10, as an example, costs $10 in London, costs $130 in Des Moines, and now it's going to cost $20. Think of it. You'll go from $130 down to it's the biggest price reduction of prescription drugs in history.
And that is a win for Americans because a lot of Americans are on prescription drugs. So if prescription drugs prices can go down or can be much more affordable, then that is a win for most Americans. And that should be something we should be happy about because Americans need that. Okay? Americans need affordability when it comes to prescription drugs. So yeah, because every one of us know one person that is, severely sick. And also, they're working on the diet and nutrition and food and all that stuff, which we also have to work on our intake of unhealthy foods, okay, which I have my own share of sugar that I'm trying to reduce the intake of sugar. But yeah, so everybody needs to work on that personally. But for prescription drugs, of course, this is a win for American.
But have a huge impact on your health care, too. I was very proud of it. And you know, the fake news, I can't get them to talk about it. Think of it. I got the biggest price reduction in history on drugs, pharmaceuticals. I can't get these guys to talk about it. It was page like 22 in the New York Times, a little story. I just got the biggest, I can't believe it. If a Democrat got a half a point down, this is like hundreds of, depending on the way you want to calculate it, you could say it's an 80% reduction, or you could say it's 1,000% reduction. You could say whatever you want, but it's the biggest reduction in history by many, many times. I did something because we were subsidizing the entire world. We were paying 10 times, in many cases, more money than the rest of the world. And I said it wasn't fair. And I got it done. And everyone said you can. They said, you'll never get other countries to agree. They said, yeah. I said, yes, I will. They said, you'll never get the other countries to agree. I got the drug companies. That was not easy, I want to tell you, but that was not so bad. But they even told me, we'll agree to it, but you'll never get the other countries. I said, 100% I will. Why wouldn't I get them? And I called Macron of France. I said, you got to double the price of your drugs. He said, no, 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 I will not do that. What was the story with his glasses the other day? What the hell was that all about?
And that's for sure. Like Macron wore sunglasses to Davos, and I'm thinking to myself, why does he have that? But well, he had a a red line on his eye or something like that. I guess he fell or is reacting to something. I don't know what it is. But a lot of people are saying on the internet that his wife, who is much older than he is, punched his face. Now that might be obviously not true. I'm not sure. But there was a video on the internet that was going viral that his wife actually was, sort of kind of like slapping his face or hitting his face. I don't know what it is, but it was on the plane and that video went viral when the French president was slapped by his wife, who is much more older than he is. But I mean, is he a victim of domestic violence? It's a question, okay? Everybody, everybody we have to ask, okay? Because if we saw that video on the internet and then now in Davos, he has sunglasses on, what does that mean? Is he getting heat multiple times at home? I don't know.
Anyway, but I got them all. I don't want to go into a long story. Bottom line, I said I'm going to increase tariffs by 25. I'm going to charge you 25% tariff if you don't do it. They said, we will do it. We would be, why don't you ask? We'd love to do it. So I got something done that no other president could have gotten done, and no other president, I don't even think they tried. You want to know the truth? You think Biden was thinking about it? He just was thinking about how the hell to get off the stage.
Oh man.
Remember, the guy could never find it. You have so many ways. You can jump off the front if it really gets... You got stairs all over the place. The guy could never find his way off the stage. This was not a good sign. But I've made new fair trade deals with countries covering half of all U.S. trade. You do know they're paid agitators, right? They're paid. They get paid. Do you ever see their signs? We used to have protests, and you'd have guys making a sign in a basement. These are all paid agitators. That's all they are. They get paid to go, and they don't even know when they interview them, why are you here? I don't know. They have no idea. They're paid insurrectionists, really, in some cases. They're sickos.
And that's another thing. If Americans are getting paid to create chaos, to agitate, to promote violence in the midst of peaceful protesters, how then do you claim that you love your country if you can get paid to create violence and you say you love your country? You don't want to be a paid agitator because you don't love what somebody else is saying. Like, is that the way you make a living, just being paid to create chaos? When you see people looting stores in this protest, it's like, what are you doing? You're destroying your own community. This is your community and you want to destroy it because you're protesting. That's not a peaceful protest. Okay. And that's what he's talking about right there. While back in the day, you would see people in their basement making a sign to go stand by the roadside to protest against the things they don't want. Nowadays, people don't even make signs anymore. They just go out with their guns or their crazy self with mask and create violence because they're not in support of something. That's not protesting. And they say it's peaceful protest. Now people are burning American flag and they're saying we're protesting. You're gonna burn American flag and then you're gonna claim that it's a peaceful protest. It's not a peaceful protest.
But I've made new fair trade deals with countries covering half of all U.S. trade, scoring giant wins for the farmers, ranchers, and agricultural producers like no other president has ever done. That's why I got such a tremendous vote from the farmers, and I love you too. I do love you too. So Japan will now allow the United States to supply up to 100% of automotive ethanol, and import large amounts of aviation biofuels from the United States. That's great for you. That was part of the deal that we made. The United Kingdom will import nearly $1 billion of ethanol. That's part of their deal. Australia is allowing American beef into its market for the first time in more than 20 years. Did you know that? And beef is doing great.
And that's the records that people don't know about. All of these things that he's talking about, like for example, when he spoke about Australia is allowing the United States beef into their market, that hasn't happened in 20 years. If he didn't say things like this, I would never know about it because I'm not actively searching what are the benefits that President Trump has created for Americans or the farmers in America. I'm not, searching for that, but he's saying these things. Now you can go research about it. And this is what I call accountability. He is being accountable. He was elected to a position and is being accountable to the people who elected him. And when people say this is the most transparent administration, some people would say, no, it's not true. But it's looking like every day because he comes out and he actually gives report of what he's doing.
We got to get the prices down a little bit, and they're starting to come down pretty much. China has agreed to purchase over $40 billion of U.S. grown soybeans. You know that. You're selling them. They're selling them. And I went to President Xi, and he's upping it. I mean, it's $40 billion. The European Union will dramatically increase purchases of American pork, dairy, and soybean oil. They never did that before. They're all doing things that they never did before because you have a certain president that's a little bit different from the presidents that you had before. And nations from Cambodia to Thailand to the Philippines and Indonesia are eliminating all trade barriers to agricultural products. Your agricultural products had trade barriers that didn't allow them to be sold in countries that are now saying, oh, please, we'd love to accept your product. So that's great. You're going to see it starting to kick in now for the farmers. And to further help our farmers recover from really a catastrophe of the Biden years, what a period of years that we had. We had a country that was just dead. We had a country that was just not respected by anybody. We had a guy who didn't know where the hell he was. Do you think he worried about his farmer at night? No. He just wanted to go to sleep. This is what we had. This is what we had in our fake election.
This guy is the number one roaster of all time. He's roasted everybody. He gives everybody a nickname, okay? Shifty Shift. Um, he gave Kamala Harris. What did he give Kamala Harris? Sleepy Joe. He gave Sleepy Joe. He gave who was her name? Uh, the Clintons. What he gave her? Lion Hillary. Like he's giving everybody a nickname. Okay, he's giving everybody a nickname, and he's the president of the United States. How does he do this?
We recently issued $12 billion in farm relief. We gave them far because you were screwed by other countries. I said, how much is the number? To our great Secretary of Agriculture, Brooke Rollins. She's doing a great job. I said, Brooke, what's the number? And she said $12 billion. And I wrote a check for $12 billion because we have so much money from the tariffs coming in. So you couldn't have done that before. We're a rich country now. I hope we win that Supreme Court case. You know, we have people that are China-oriented. They're people from literally that very China-oriented and foreign country-oriented trying to stop that. But we'll get it done one way or the other. We're going to do it. If we have to do it a different way, we'll do it. But we're taking in hundreds of billions of dollars. We're doing amazing. Nobody can even believe it. Foreign countries cannot believe what's happened. They're studying us, but it won't work. But I'm also working hard to expand your markets domestically. And in the campaign, I promise to support E15 all year round. Yes? Yes? Should I do it, Kaufman? Should I do it? I did. I promised E15 all year round if I get elected. And I want to let you know, and we'll start right now. I was going to put out a statement a week ago. I said, hold it. I'm coming to Iowa to make a speech. I'm not going to put out a truth. I want to be there in person to tell them, the people of Iowa, to know that I am trusting Speaker Mike Johnson, who's great, and Leader John Thune, who's great, that's House and Senate, to find a deal that works. We've got it. For farmers, consumers, and refiners, including small and mid-sized refiners. In other words, to get E15 approved, and they're working on it. They're very close to getting it done. So I just wanted to let you know that. Yeah? Yeah? And China will be sending me a bill very shortly supporting year-round E15 to my desk very quickly, and I will sign it without delay, okay? I hope you remember us for the midterms. You know, the worst thing about the midterms is the fact that no matter what happens, the people that win the presidency, you win even if you're a good president. I think we had the best first year of any president ever, maybe they say. But even if you have any great, it's like in the last 50 years, they've won it twice. Can you believe it? If something happens, there's a screw turns with the voters. So even if it's a Democrat or Republican, whoever wins the presidency has a hard time with the midterm. If we lose the midterms, you'll lose so many of the things that we're talking about, so many of the assets that we're talking about, so many of the tax cuts that we're talking about. And it would lead to very bad things. We got to win the midterms. I mean, I'm here because I love Iowa, but I'm here because we're starting the campaign to win the midterms. We got to win the midterms. That means Senate, and it means House.
Just as I predicted. Now he's already running. Well, not running, but on the road, actively campaigning for midterms for the Republican Party. Just what I said. And this is going to happen in 2028 as well, because there's nobody who has crowd control prowess like President Trump in the Republican Party. There's nobody. JD Vance, impeccable. He has, he's talent, but he's not President Trump. Marco Rubio, exceptionally articulate, but he's not President Trump. Okay. And President Trump was talking about E15. So E15, obviously, for all people who are um, weather conscious, okay, who are talking about global warming and stuff like that, those people are going to make this a headline because if he's saying E15 all year round, they're going to say, well, are you going to sell E15 during the summertime? Well, E15 gas is not compatible or good for the summertime. So, well, this is going to be a headline for people who are talking about global warming and just uh, climate change entirely.
Got to win them. It's crazy. You know, you'd think it would be like a 50-50 deal or something. It's like, for some reason, and this is Democrat too, Democrat wins the presidency, for some reason they lose the midterms. Now, maybe they don't campaign as hard because they've I don't know, but I campaign hard. We gotta win the midterms. So remember that you gotta get out and you gotta vote. The midterms are very important. We're gonna really work hard on winning the midterms. We have great candidates. Again, Senate and House. We have great candidates. We got to win them. And we have candidates that rule with common sense, not this craziness. You know, we're not going to be supporting transgender for all, men and women's sports, open borders. Open borders. The worst is open borders because, you know, I take care of things and, you know, inflation I had to beat very quickly and all, but this open border thing, you know, it's a lot of work. You're taking criminals that they allowed into our country where the jails are opened up. Remember the jails, the prisons all over, from all over the world, they're opened up. The Congo, all over South America, Venezuela, they opened up their jails. We got to get them out. I mean, it's really, really, we can never forget what that group of morons did to this country. We can never forget. And we've got to win the midterms. That's why we've got to win the midterms. As we bring trillions of dollars pouring into our country from overseas, we're also making America affordable again, a problem caused totally by the crooked Joe Biden administration. I mean, you know, I inherited this problem. They say, prices are too high. I just took over. They said, I'll never forget, I come here, I'm in 3 days, I have a news conference 3 days into my administration. What about the price of eggs? They've gone up like 5 times more. I said, I just got here. I didn't know about it. I'm sorry.
Mr. Busky says, I remember when acid rain that never happened was their talking point. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Well, now it is climate change. And of course, President Trump has always said he never believes in climate change because sometimes it is very hot, sometimes it is very cold. When it is very cold, you're going to say climate change. When it is very hot, you're going to say climate change. So he said he doesn't believe in that. So he's making his decisions based on long term, um, I don't know, stats from people like, I guess, Elon Musk. Elon Musk also spoke about climate change. However, is saying like the carbon dioxide that is being, or whatever carbon air is being released into the air cannot just keep being released into the air, and fossil fuel and all that stuff. They know about stuff like that, but President Trump is like, yo, we're not gonna waste our time talking about climate change or not make decisions to, you know, make America great again, which is drill, baby, drill. And a lot of people were talking about why would you drill when you're trying to save the environment or the climate? Well, he doesn't. He's drilling, ladies and gentlemen. He's drilling.
And we got eggs down very quickly, remember? But I was standing there. I'm so happy. I just won. I thought the press was going to be so nice. And some lunatic right there, actually. What about the price of eggs? Eggs have gone up. I said, oh, tell me, give me a
Mr. Busky says, early 80s, they claimed, I guess he's talking about the acid rain. Well, this Gen Zs and maybe some millennials would never remember. Well, millennials would remember, but Gen Z would not remember anything around 80s or because they were like born in the 90s, late 90s, so they don't know anything about that. But they are eating up the climate change, I don't want to say agenda, or propaganda, but they are eating it up. And it's all over TikTok and all, social media because they think this is the first time anything like climate change ever existed.
little, because I don't know. I just got here. I'm sorry. But I fixed it. Now I fixed it pretty much all, but it's going to go down even further. No, but they caused the problem. And then they came up, it's a word that they came up with, affordability. Every time you hear the word, remember, they're the ones that caused the problem. And first time you heard about it was like a few months ago. This election's all about affordability. Well, they're the ones that caused the problem. But nobody knows that. People forget. So they say, oh, affordability, let's vote for the Democrats. It's no, affordability. They caused a tremendous price increases. It was caused by the worst inflation we've ever had. And they come up with this word, affordability. And I saw it although you're not hearing it so much anymore. You know why? Because the prices are coming down so much. They don't want it to be an election based on lower prices. But we're bringing down the lower, I like that term better. It's the lower prices, we're bringing them down. But we inherited the highest prices in the history of our country, and we've rapidly brought them down. And that's what we want to do. Did you ever see them where they're being interviewed? This will be an election on affordability. And I say that, but they never talk about after, that's all they say. They just say affordability, but they never do anything, Mr. Chairman, right? They never say, they don't talk about what do they mean. So everyone says, look, you people are doing a lot of things. You're not into politics that much, although you like it, you like Trump, but you're not into politics. But you're not going to go back and examine. All you know is, oh, therefore, I guess that means they did a good job. They almost destroyed our country. They were pricing you out. When gasoline's at $4.50 and now it's at $1, I was told, I was saying $1.99 today in Iowa. I was told that it was $1.85 it hit a gallon in Iowa. And that's like a massive tax cut. That's actually like a massive tax cut. So the Biden nightmare cost a typical American family $34,000 in 4 years, but after 1 year of Trump, real wages are already up more than $2,000. Think of it, that's a $5,000 swing, much faster. Wages have gone up much faster. Think of this than inflation. With him, it was just the opposite. Wages in the United States in the last year have gone up. And remember, the first part of the year, actually you could say almost the first year, I was fixing the country from the horror show that we inherited. Grocery prices, airfares, hotels, car payments, and rent prices have all come down, and they've come down very fast. And thanks to our...
Now, I've heard a lot of people talking about gas prices. That's why I wanted you guys to chime in the comment section. Is gas prices going down in your city? Because gas prices is going down here in Georgia. Okay, in Atlanta, Georgia, gas prices is going down. Okay, rent, not so much, but gas prices is going down for sure. We've heard about inflation going down, but is it going down where you are, or is just maybe some of us in the South?
tax cuts, millions of Americans will soon receive record-setting tax refunds, an average of more than $1,000. Think of that, $1,000 compared to last year, $1,000 just in what you're going to save with some of the tax cuts. And that number goes up exponentially over the course of 4 years. So it's amazing. It's called the Great Big Beautiful Bill. You know, one other thing that you get that's I thought was so great, I came up with it. You know, very rich people get deductions. Middle-income people don't get deductions. They never had to. I said, why is it that when a rich person buys something, they get a deduction on interest, but when somebody that's working like hell, they don't get it if they want to buy a car? And I said, why can't somebody buying a car in America, only if it's made in America, if it's made in some other country, we have no interest? So I got it approved in the Great Big Beautiful Bill. You get a full tax deduction against your income tax. You get a full tax deduction. Think of it, if you purchase a car in America, if you borrow money, the interest that you're paying on that borrowed money is a full deduction for your tax purposes. And that's a tremendous deal. And you know what? It's also great for the car companies, because the car companies are going to be making a lot more cars that they couldn't believe it. And I got it passed. So just remember me as you take those deductions, please. The king of deductions. No, but it was always unfair the way a lot of people got treated. You take that deduction. One of those who will be seeing a big benefit thanks to our tax cuts is Erica Perltel. Where's Erica? Is she here? Erica? Where is Erica? Where is she? Oh, she's so beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that anymore. If I say a woman is beautiful, that's the end of your political career, you know? But she is beautiful. How are you? Congratulations. What a good story. She's the general manager at Whiskey River Bar in Ankeny, Iowa, which, as you know, I visited strongly a couple of times in the campaign. And Erica's been able to hire many new employees, and they're each going to be taking home thousands and thousands of dollars extra because of the no tax on tips. And she's got a lot more people wanting to work for her, too, because of that no tax on tips. That's just one of many. How's that working out, Erica? Good? You want to come up and say a few words? Come on up, Erica. You want to come on up? And while she's coming up, also with us is Judy Waldron from Davenport. Judy works part-time as a bartender, and her husband, Chris, is an electrician who works hours on overtime each week. Their family is going to save thousands of dollars on no tax on overtime and no tax on tips, which they'll use to prepare for retirement.
Also, he's talking about no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security. Has anybody started getting this no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime? Okay, because the bill was signed, so I just want to know if people are now getting that, or maybe not yet. I know some people have started talking about they're applying to schools for school choice that was in that bill, but some of them are still not being um accepted by those schools because they're saying it is first come first serve, obviously, but you still have to go first to your district school, the school that you were zoned for. And if you for some reason don't want to go to the school that you were zoned for, you would have to call or sort of get a some sort of permit to go to another school, but that school would only take you if they have space. So the school choice thing is a little maybe not uh there yet for me, but let me know if you guys are getting the no tax on overtime and no tax on tips.
I don't want to thank you, Judy. Where's Judy? Where's? Come here. Where's Judy? Come on up, Judy. Get up here. Come on up. They're totally unprepared for this, but what the hell, right? Say a few words. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President Trump. No tax on tips is huge for everyone in the service industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would just like to say the same thing. Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Annie. Good luck. Thank you, both. I refuse to say they're beautiful. I refuse. But they're beautiful. Do all people look like that in Iowa? I don't think so. Thank you both. Congratulations, too. Great. That's great. We're not supposed to come up, but I looked at both of them and I said, get up here. We're also pleased to be joined by Governor Kim Reynolds. Kim, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Great. A man who's become a real star, Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent. Scott. He's become a star. He's done a real job. He knows his business. And he's a big cutter. He cuts a lot of things. Small business administrator, another real star, Kelly Loeffler. Kelly. Thank you, Kelly. Thanks, Kelly. Great person. Those are great people. Also with us are Representatives Ashley Hinson. These are people running for office. We have to vote them. Randy Feenstra, Marionette Miller Meeks, and Zach Nunn. I want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I want to tell you that they're all great and they're all running and they should be in good shape, but you got to get out and vote. Got to get out and vote. Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird. Where's Brenna? Hi, Brenna. Boy, she was early to endorse me. She was so early. We appreciate it. We'll never forget that. That was great. Thanks a lot, Brenna. And you're doing well. I hear you're doing great, right? Thank you. She's running again. You got to vote for her. State House Majority Leader Bobby Kaufman. Bobby. Guys, you gotta move her there. Thank you, Bobby. Great job. Great family. Former State Senate President Leader. Now, I have to tell you about this guy. He endorsed me, the first person in the entire United States of America. It was a year before I even knew I was running, he endorsed me. He endorsed me because he thought I would be good. I wasn't even thinking about running. He was so early. He was the first person in the United States, before my wife, before my kids. State Senate President. He's the Marlboro man. He looks like the Brad Zahn. Where's Brad? Where are you, Brad? Come on up here. Get up here, Brad.
All right, before we listen to that person, the Marlboro man, like somebody in the crowd screamed. So shout out to Mr. Busky one more time, the bucket master. Well, Mr. Busky, unfortunately, you would not be giving so many people buckets. Maybe when we grow with his horizontal style, let's see what happens. But he's saying that as of January 1st, the no tax on tips and overtime are already enacted nationwide. So you guys that are watching right now, if you do overtime or if you get tips, are you getting? A lot of people don't pay tax on tips already, but some people do pay. So let me know if you're getting taxed on tips or if you're getting taxed on overtime. Let me know.
And State Representatives Heather Hora, Derek Wolf, Brooke Bowden, and many other wonderful members of the Iowa State House. I want to thank you all for being here. Brad, you got to say, look at this guy. Can you talk, Brad?
Well, it's an honor to be here. And you know, my wife is a Fox News junkie, and she loves Laura Ingraham. And I tell her, I said, enjoy every second because you are the GOAT. Promises made, promises kept. Thank you.
He said, you are the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I'm telling you guys, look, you may not like Trump, but it is what it is. It is what it is. He's making regular people rich. I don't know if you could hate him so much and not open your eyes to what is going on in America right now. There is a wealth gap shift. Okay, I'm not saying the rich is not going to stay rich. Of course, the rich are going to stay rich. When has the rich never stayed rich? The rich would continue to stay rich. However, there is a different sheriff in town. There's going to be crumbs. Okay. There's going to be crumbs and there's going to be much more leftovers for people who are just getting started. And you can build from leftovers, from crumbs. I'm letting you know. You can hate it. You can say, well, but the money in the economy right now, people are starting businesses. People are taking out loans. People are getting their credit repaired. People are getting, better mortgage rate now, this moment right now, at this moment right now. So you can hate, or you could just pay attention to what's going on, absorb as much information as you can, open your eyes to the opportunities that surround you, and take advantage.
He's the Marlboro man, right? He could do that, do whatever he wants. He was so early. I said, who the hell is that guy in Iowa that keeps endorsing me? Thank you, Brad. We won't forget. The Trump administration has done more in 12 months than most administrations achieve in 4 years or 8 years. We've done a lot. I've recently introduced my plan to repair the damage of the Unaffordable Care Act, the worst disaster. which now costs many families more than a mortgage. If you look, a number came out, it's a bigger cost than a mortgage, and it's bad health care. Obamacare was created to make insurance companies rich with government subsidies. I want all that money that gets paid to the insurance companies to get paid directly to the people. That's all I want. So that you can buy better health care at a lower cost. The problem is the Democrats don't want to do that because they are owned by the insurance companies. So they say, oh, we don't want to do that. I want the money to be paid to the people to go out and buy their own health care. You'll buy much better health care. You have a lot of money left over. And I'm also making it a lot easier to buy a thing called a house, the American dream. Last week, I signed an executive order to ban Wall Street and large institutional investors from buying up all the single-family homes in America. Because we don't want America to become a nation of renters, and that's what they forced happen. I mean, you have these companies, they own 5,000 houses, 20,000. One has hundreds of thousands of houses. We don't want that. We want people to be able to buy houses. At the same time, I want to keep the value of the house very high of those people who already own a house. We're not forgetting about them because they don't necessarily match those two things. You know, we get the prices down. Well, what does that do? Very important to me, more important to me, is, you know, people have become rich by owning their home. We're going to keep them nice and rich. Is that okay? You know, nobody... I'll bet you've never heard that before, right? But people own a home, and for the first time, their home, it's a certain, we're not going to bring that price down. I want to say, let them be rich. But we're strengthening Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac that you've heard about, and in the last 12 months, those institutions have supported over 22,000 Iowa families in purchasing or refinancing and saved over 3,000 Iowa families from losing their homes. We've come out and really helped a lot of people keep your home. And despite a bad Fed chairman, a guy that has no, we call him too late. He's too late. Jerome Too Late Powell, he's too late. He wasn't too late before the Democrats on the election, then he was too early. But he wants to keep rates as high as possible. Despite that, we've driven rates down. You know, when you're really good, you can get them down despite everything, because ultimately, it just sort of follows nature. Mortgage interest rates are now at the lowest level in 3 years, and new mortgage applications are up 30%. By the way, well, we have a great Fed chairman. I think we're going to have one. I'll announce it pretty soon. You'll see rates come down a lot. And refinancings are up 100% compared to the end of the Biden term. Up 100%. We're also working tirelessly to bring back a thing called law and order. You know, there was a time. So there was a time that you weren't allowed to use the words law and order. I like that guy. You weren't allowed to use the term law and order. You weren't allowed to use the term Christmas. Merry Christmas, everybody, right? Remember that 2016? I ran on, we're going to bring back Christmas. We did. Now they're afraid to suggest it, but we brought that back. But law and order, we need law and order. And we have the lowest crime rate now in the history of our country. That's good, but we'll do even better. And as everyone is aware, we've totally and completely closed the southern border with little fanfare, but tremendous success. Where the southern border is closed, nobody's coming in. That's right, nobody is able to come into a country except for those that come in legally. We want to have people come in legally. We need people to come in legally.
And most people would say he doesn't even want legal migration. That's what they're saying. Okay? And that's why we have all this ICE protest everywhere in the country. Okay? Minnesota, 2 people have been killed. ICE agents, some agents are being um, sort of excused, like sent out of Minnesota. There's been a reduction in ICE agents, according to what we're seeing on the news. And Tom Homan already landed in Minnesota. He's having conversations with Tim Walz and, of course, the mayor of Minnesota. So they can find some sort of reconciliation where this ICE against the people or the people against ICE conversation can die down, and federal agent can be allowed to sort of implement on the job they were hired to do.
But they have to show that they can love our country, not hate our country. They have to show that they're not going to blow up our shopping centers, blow up our farms, kill people. They're coming in legally, but they cannot come in unless they come in legally into our country, and we're letting some great people come in. They have to show that they can love our country. They have to be proud. Not like Ilhan Omar. Did you see that wise guy? You know, she's always talking about.
So there are people like Omar, for sure, who is, in my opinion, has ascended to one of the highest offices in the land. Okay, she's a congresswoman, so that's one of the highest offices, as far as I'm concerned, in America. And she wasn't even born in the United States. Okay, this is why America is the greatest country in the world. Look at somebody like Omar. She is a congresswoman in Minnesota, right? Now look at Elon Musk. He's become the wealthiest person in the world when it comes to money financially. He's very smart. He's going to space, shooting rocket into space. These guys and girls were not born in the United States. Elon was born in South Africa. Omar was born in Somalia. I was born in Nigeria. So it's like anybody can be anything in the United States. Anybody can be anything if you just dedicate yourself, work as hard as you can, plug yourself into the system, give back to the system, and just watch as everything just works out for you. But if you don't do that, you know you're gonna blame the system. However, some people have found a way to ascend in America. However, they're now sort of being hypocrites. Okay, for example, what's going on in Minnesota right now? People are lying just to make a point. Listen to what President Trump has to say here.
But the Constitution provides me with the following. The Constitution, she comes from a country that's a disaster. It's considered, I think, it's not even a country, okay? It barely has a government. I don't think it does. They're good at one thing, pirates. But they don't do that anymore. You know why? Because they get the same treatment from us as the drug dealers get. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom, boom. President Trump said the drug dealers get boom, boom, boom. Oh my goodness. He's talking about the boats on the water that Pete Hegseth, obviously, everybody knows he is the defense. Well, it's not more defense, it is now war, okay? He is now the Secretary of War. It's not more the defense secretary. He is now the war secretary. So the Secretary of War literally was blowing out of the water these boats, and a lot of people were, getting blown out of this world. So nobody was on the underwater. According to President Trump, people were not even going underwater to fish. So, ooh.
I don't care what ship they're attacking. When they attack, when we say them going in, ping, that's the end of the. It's amazing. I don't know if you know, drugs coming in by water is down 97%. And we're trying to find out who the other 3% is, because we consider them the bravest people in the world. Who the hell are the 3%? But it's down 97%. And now we're taking them down on the land. The land is much easier than the sea. You had to do the sea first, but the sea is done. We haven't exactly helped the luxury fishing business, I would say. Would you like to go fishing? No, thank you. I'd rather. Let's go deep sea fishing today. Let's go on a little boat, deep sea fishing. Sorry about that. But it's down 97%. We've done a job. I'll tell you, we've made our country respected again. The greatest military. We have the greatest military in the world. I rebuilt our military in our first term, and we have the greatest military in the world. So you read much about Minnesota, where, unbeknownst to the public, we have brought down crime very substantially in Minnesota. We've taken out thousands of hard criminals, hardened, vicious, horrible criminals. You don't read about things like Washington, D.C., where there is virtually no crime, and it was horrible a year and a half ago. Memphis, Tennessee, which was a real disaster, and now it's down. Crime has dropped by 78% in the last 2 months. New Orleans, Louisiana, I was asked by the governor of Louisiana to help them with New Orleans. It was a disaster, and crime is down 54% in about 3 weeks. You don't read about that. And we've done all of this by taking thousands of criminals out of these states. We took over 2,000 people out of Washington, D.C. These were criminals. If you remember, about 2% of the population, it's a very simple business. 2% of the population causes 90% of the crime. So when you start decimating that 2%, boom, that's why we have it's an amazing number when you think. It's just crime over and over and over. 2% creates 90% of the crime. Isn't that amazing? It's not that complicated, is it? In 1 year, we've achieved the largest drop in the murder rate in the history of our country. Drug overdose deaths are down by 21%, the largest drop ever recorded. We got to do better than that. And I've designated the drug cartels as foreign terrorist organizations. Big deal. And despite the strong effort.
You can hate Trump. You can hate his guts. You can hate the way he delivers his message or whatever you hate about him. It is your personal preference, okay? I'm not going to judge you for who you hate and who you don't hate. But one thing I'm going to say is you can never deny the fact that this man is very efficient, absolutely efficient. See what he's done with Washington, D.C. Everybody was complaining about how D.C. was so unsafe. Look what he did. National Guard. You can hate the fact that he deployed National Guard. Why would you deploy National Guard on civilians of your own country? That is not democracy. That could be your opinion. But the truth is, DC has become much more safer. Become safer. It's become much more safer. So, look, you might not like the way his approach goes or the way he speaks or whatever he does. That's your preference. Okay? He is effective. Look at the border. Nobody is even trying to cross the border because oh, Trump, Trump. Oh, I'm not messing around with Trump. Even with the ICE situation, everybody's going cuckoo like this because they know Trump is about to deport anybody and everybody who is not legal. As long as you are a criminal, illegal alien in the United States, you are going. So, some people who have bad interest or something invested in this bad actors, of course, they're not going to support it. They're not going to support it. They're not. But is he effective? Absolutely. He's absolutely effective. Look at the tariffs. People were talking about tariffs. What happened? Tariff has made so much money for America. Last year, I think for Christmas, the military people, active military people, got money from the tariffs. And they were saying, well, they were already going to get the bonus. Okay. Well, now they're saying that most Americans are going to get $1,000 much more than they got last year for tax return. And you're going to save on taxes. So you can say what you want to say about Trump, okay? The fact is he is effective, okay? His guts may be annoying. You may not like the way he he talks, like I always say. But talking is just talking. Action is what matters. He brought back the hostages from the Middle East, dead or alive. It takes guts to do stuff like that. It takes competence. to do stuff like that. He's done so much in a space of 365 days than a lot of people have done in 20, 30 years and that have been in government for a long, long time because he's gutsy. That's it. He's bold. He takes a lot of risks. He makes a lot of mistakes. And that's the thing about taking a lot of risks because when you take a lot of risks, you're making a lot of mistakes, but you're making a lot of progress as well. But you're making a lot of mistakes, but you're making a lot of progress as well. That's what happened in 2020. But now he's much more experienced. He has a better team with him. I keep saying that the team President Trump has with him in the White House, likes of the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, VP, JD Vance, and the rest of them. These guys are like smart men, very articulate, experienced people, capable people that have common sense. So, of course, everybody's going at the same pace. That's why President Trump's second term is looking like record holding highs. Everything he's doing is just breaking records right now. Why? Because he has capable people around him right now.
Of the fake news media, we are starting to see the historic success reflected in tremendous polls. We have great polls. In last week's Rasmussen poll, we're leading among Hispanic voters. We're leading by a lot. Nobody's ever seen a Republican lead among Hispanic voters. Hispanic voters don't want crime. People don't realize that. Hispanic voters want strong borders.
Nobody wants crime. Nobody wants crime. It's just easy. Nobody wants crime.
Because they know what's coming in and they don't want them. They're great. They've been great. We did so great in the election with Hispanic voters. We did so great with black men. We did so great with white everything. In yesterday's RMG poll, a clear majority of Americans support our deportation policies by a margin of 10%. Now, I don't know why 10%, because I don't think it's even, wouldn't you say like 100%? Who the hell would be against? Maybe somebody that hates our country. In a recent Harvard-Harris poll found that 80% of Americans support our unprecedented operation to deport criminal aliens. In other words, 80%, that's more like it, of the people support our operation to remove really dangerous, bad people out of our country.
Most people support President Trump's deportation. They may not support the way he's doing it, which is deploying ICE, like that. But most people also don't remember that President Trump and Tom Homan, particularly Tom Homan said to mayors and state governors that support ICE, give us the access to your city jails and your city prisons to be able to get criminal illegal aliens directly from the prison cells. So that way we don't have to get into some sort of, back and forth and put anybody else in danger or people in danger in the community. But some of these deep blue cities would not give Tom Homan and ICE agents, border patrols, Homeland Security, access to this information. So of course they're gonna go on the road. Some of these guys got released back, so they're gonna go on the road pursuing these people. Now, protesters are everywhere in Minnesota. How do you expect ICE to do their job? And now the protest is turning into riot.
And in a Reuters poll that just came out, Republicans are leading on the economy by a lot and leading on immigration by a lot. And the crime, they're leading by a real lot, by almost 20 points. And in Real Clear Politics average net approval, the Republican Party is more than 10 points more popular than Democrats. And I don't even understand that. 10 points is considered a lot. But to me, how is it?
One thing Trump has done for the Republican Party is he's made them very, very popular. Of course, Trump has become crazily popular, enormously popular, of course. But so has the Republican Party. And so has people like JD Vance, Marco Rubio, okay, Dr. Oz, Who else is there? Scott Bassett. These are names that nobody knew about. Even Christy Noem. Like nobody really knew about Christy Noem. Of course, she was the governor, but President Trump made all of these guys mainstream names where everybody is constantly talking about them, like Pam Bundy. Pam Bundy was a huge name in Florida, but not in the whole of America. But now she's being talked about everywhere in America and across the world. That's what President Trump does. He makes you sort of like a star. Okay, so some people obviously cannot handle it, and some people fall off. But for the ones who actually can handle it, they're doing good. JD Vance is doing pretty good. Okay. Marco Rubio, I think Marco Rubio would be perfect for 2028, but he's also said, like I said earlier, he's not running if JD Vance is running. I guess they don't want to spoil their friendship. I guess the friendship is much more important than being the president or vice president. But JD Vance as president, Marco Rubio as vice president, that would be an unbeatable ticket, in my opinion, with President Trump's blessings and touring or campaigning with them. Ooh, unstoppable.
10 points. Well, we've done all these things. They've done only destroying our country. They are destroying, they would destroy. I'm telling you, if Kamala won, or any of them, I think Gavin Newsom is worse because, I mean, he's destroyed California.
Gavin Newsom is definitely coming for 2028. That's something that everybody has to be ready for. Gavin Newsom is coming back for 2028. Some people think Kamala Harris is going to come back, which I think she's going to come back, but she's not going to be the primary candidate for the Democrat Party because she tried in 2024 and Americans spoke, voted for President Trump. I don't think she's coming back in 2028, but if she does come back, I totally believe that Gavin Newsom would be the presidential candidate for the Democrat Party in 2028. That's my belief because he has momentum right now. You may not understand the kind of momentum he has. A lot of people just like him because he is opposing President Trump. And you know the saying, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's what a lot of Americans are doing. A lot of Americans, like say 45% of Americans, totally dislike President Trump. Let's just say, okay, those 45% will, 30% of that 45% would support Gavin Newsom because they would say, well, he's standing against President Trump. So I don't like Trump. I'm going to vote for Gavin Newsom. So let's see how that goes in 2028. It's going to be a battle because with this riot and protest and peaceful protest that is going on, these are all content, commercial content, campaign videos for both parties, and they're going to use it to their advantage. So the Republicans are going to take it and say, well, look at the cities being destroyed. Your blue city governors are not doing anything. Your mayors are not doing anything. Vote for Republicans. And Democrats are going to say, well, look what happened. Deploying ICE, deporting single moms and all stuff like that. So everybody's going to use it to their own advantage. Okay. However, whoever wins the presidential election for 2028 would either reverse most of the things President Trump is doing right now or continue what President Trump has done. I would say it would be better to sort of continue what President Trump is doing when it comes to, making Americans rich with lower taxes, higher income, safer borders, peace around the world. But if somebody else comes in, like Gavin Newsom, to just make a statement, he has to do something drastic, which would be reversing major policies that President Trump will be enacting or has enacted. Because he has to send a message to his base. His base has to understand that we are against President Trump and we're going to do things that would jeopardize everything he worked for. So the first year, Gavin Newsom would be doing a lot to undo a lot of things President Trump has done.
If they win, that group, that ideology wins, you will be Venezuela on steroids. And I've said it for years. And you know what? They will destroy our country. The country would have.
Exactly. Shout out to Mr. Busky. He said Gavin Newsom showing up with Soros at Davos speaks volumes he's funded for. Absolutely. He's standing against President Trump. Everybody, if you're watching right now, do me a favor. Click on the like button and like this video so YouTube can recommend it to a lot of people. But yes, thank you so much. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. God bless you. And I got to say this, okay? That's what I'm saying. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. And that's what Soros is doing. I didn't even know he went with Soros. He went with Soros. Showing up at Davos with Soros, that's a big statement. He has unlimited funding for 2028's campaign. He's already campaigning. His social media is going bonkers right now. Go check him out on TikTok. Check him out on Facebook. Check him out on X. He's blowing up. Check him out on Instagram. He is blowing up. They are strategically making him go viral right now. So once campaigns start, he already has people that love watching him. He already has people that loves to watch him. He has a podcast. These things are strategic. Michelle Obama has a podcast. Some people think it's just like, regular. No, it is strategic movement because they've seen the playbook of the Republican Party, how President Trump rose to power in 2024 after all of those back and forth from the courtroom to the campaign grounds. He did it with right strong right wing podcasters and also just moderate podcasters like Joe Rogan. He did it with people like Joe Rogan and, Theos and a lot of people. He was with these people, the Logan Pauls, Jake Pauls, and all of these folks. Some of them are not like right wing, but they are moderate podcasters. And that's what the Democrat Party is copying. They're creating their own stars. They're creating their own podcast. They're going viral, not for the sake of going viral, but for the sake of campaign coming in future.
Been destroyed already. We're fully rebuilding the U.S. military with more than $1 trillion we're spending on the military. And in June, we obliterated Iran's nuclear capacity in Operation Midnight Hammer. You saw that. People have been waiting for 22 years to do that, and we were right at the end. They were about a month away from having a nuclear weapon. We had to do it. And by the way, there's another beautiful armada floating beautifully toward Iran right now. So we'll see. I hope they make a deal. I hope they make a deal. They should have made a deal the first time they'd have a country. And just weeks ago,
Every time Iran keeps making the same mistakes, I've heard that the guy in charge has gone into hiding underground. Why would you stir up chaos? Why would you stir up violent and then the next thing you do is run underground to hide and then you let your people suffer and then you say you are a leader? That is not a leader. I'm sorry to say. I don't know so much about Iran, but saying that a leader ran underground to go hiding. So who are you leading then? The people he's leading are just like, yo, why would you be leading people and then running underground? Bless you, boo-boo. It's like, what is that? Now, President Trump is talking about another attack on Iran. You know what happened a couple of months ago, last year, when their nuclear capabilities was totally destroyed by the B-2 bombers or the B-12 bombers. And it's like everybody thought it was going to be a long fight, a long war. Well, this is another war. We don't want another war, President Trump. Everybody was going back and forth. And that was when the late, may his soul rest in peace, Charlie Kirk was alive, and he was, he was, they said a lot of things about, back and forth, Iran, Israel, back and forth, and nobody really wanted a war, but it never happened. It never happened. Candace Owens said the same thing too, like, "Oh, this is gonna be forever war," but it never happened. And I respect Candace Owens, okay, but it's like it never happened. Sometimes you just have to be patient and see what's going on. Be patient sometimes. Okay. It's not about, ooh. The fact is, President Trump and his team has confidential information. Okay. They have privilege to secret information, classified information, higher information than we have. We only know what Fox tells us, or NBC, or ABC, or CNN says, with their diluted, you know, implanted information they want us to absorb. So you have to wait for the commander in chief who has more information. Let him make his move. He knows what he's doing. And he's shown that multiple times. He's shown that multiple times. So sometimes you just have to be patient. Okay. You just have to be patient and just say, all right, I'm just going to wait and see what this guy is doing. Because clearly, I don't have as many information or as much information as they have. Same thing with Maduro. People were saying, "Oh, Venezuela because of the oil, because of the oil." Well, maybe it's because of the oil, or maybe it's not, or maybe it's because of the drugs. You don't know. You just can speculate and think in your mind, but you don't have as much information as these folks have, because they can see things that you cannot see because they have satellites you don't have.
Ago in a spectacular operation in Venezuela, we brought the outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to face American justice. In one of the most brilliant, lethal, quick, they've never seen violent operations ever seen, military operations ever seen. Nobody was killed.
Another thing, what happened in Venezuela with, Nicolas Maduro and being taken out of his fortress without any lethal or fatal casualty on America's side, it is out of this world. It is out of this world. And I would say, because a lot of people have said it on the internet, that that is the Super Bowl of warfare, meaning what the United States military did was so stealth that it is just out of this world. The level at which they were able to perform that task was impeccable, and a lot of people are talking about it on the internet. And I've heard people say that has just sparked fear in a lot of America's enemies' heart, that they do not want to go back and forth with President Trump, to be precise, because of course you could talk about America's might, uh, military wise, of course, but who is commanding that military right now? Who is commanding the military right now? It is the commander in chief, President Trump. So when he gives command, he's direct with it, and they know he's not messing around. That's why they have this FAFO, which is F around and find out. Nobody wants that. Okay. Maduro has seen it. Okay. Iran has seen it. Now, Russia and Ukraine is still going back and forth. But I have a feeling that Vladimir Putin would come to a deal with President Trump pretty soon, and it may take a while, but it is what it is. Some things are gonna come by fast, some things are gonna come by slow. It is what it is. But so far, so good. He's done a very great job. Over 10, I would say President Trump. I would give him a 8. I would give President Trump a 8. I don't know what you would give him, but I would give President Trump a 8 because he's done mostly everything he promised his voters. Because not everybody voted for President Trump, but the people who voted for President Trump, they're seeing most of the things they say they wanted when they said, or when he earned their vote. They're seeing it. Border tariffs, lower gas prices, lower mortgage rates, inflation rates going down, GDPI, um, America's debt is going down for the first time in so many years. So there's so many things that they wanted President Trump to do concerning Israel. He's done it. Okay. So it's like it's a lot going on. He settled so many wars. They wanted him to designate the cartels as a terrorist group. He's done it. And people, kind of like spoke down on his team. For example, Pete Hegseth. People said Pete Hegseth was, you know, a drunk alcoholic. He's not capable of being the Secretary of War. But look what he's done. They even said he's not being confidential. He's not following the laws. He's chatting where he's not supposed to be chatting. It's like, let's see what he's done with the department. People are trying to be in the military right now. A lot of people recruitment is all the way up. Recruitment right now, Air Force, Army, Navy, whatever it is. A lot of American kids wants to be in the military right now. Why would you say it's because of President Trump, or it's just the energy in the country, or maybe because Pete Hegseth keeps dropping videos and content online where he's doing push-ups, sit-ups, you know, pull-ups, and that's looking cool to them. And it's like, oh, I want to be cool like the Secretary of War, so I'm just gonna join the military. Maybe, who knows? Or maybe because RFK does pull-ups too. I mean, who knows why? But for some reason, there's this love for America from some selected few that are really eager to express that feeling and join the military to serve their country. So I would say it is because they respect their leader, which happens to be President Trump. It is what it is.
Not on their side, a lot of people, unfortunately, I have to say a lot. We went into a very big, powerful military base with a group of unbelievable, talented, patriotic people that love our country. You couldn't hold them back. You know, the weather was off for 3 nights. It was not good, so I delayed it. The next night it was okay, but not great. I said, General, sir, they're ready to go, sir, they're okay. I said, but
Sir, they're ready to go. Sir, they're ready to go. I delayed it. I delayed it. I delayed it. Sir, they're ready to go.
the weather's a little bad. I said, sir, they're ready to go. I said, God bless you, General. And boy, did they do a job. Joe Biden and his allies, in conclusion, in Congress did everything they could to destroy our country, but they failed. And today, after just 1 year since my second inauguration, we have a new hat. It's called America is Back. America is back.
America's back.
Our border is secure. Our spirit is restored. Inflation is stopped. Incomes are up. Prices are down. Our economy is roaring. Our workers are thriving. And our country is winning again, winning like never before. We've never had a period of time like this. You've never had a period of time. I just left a great group of people from Iowa, and half of them were crying as they talked to me. I don't think they were crying because I'm doing a bad job. In theory, you'd cry if you do a bad. They were crying because I've done a good job. Sir, they said, sir, you've brought our country back. Crying. One woman was fantastic. She grabbed me and she put her head right there, and her tears are pouring all over my beautiful suit. I figured I'd get it. And I checked it out, and there was a lot of makeup all over. I said, what the?
Shout out to everybody watching right now. God bless you. If you have not subscribed, subscribe. If you've not liked, like. If you've not shared, shared. so YouTube can recommend this video to a lot of people. However, Mr. Busky spoke about the code is in the chat right now. Also, we welcome your input. What do you think about what President Trump is doing right now? Do you support ICE and immigration? Do you like what's going on? Do you see what's going on in Minnesota? Do you think you support the protesters, or some people are calling them rioters, or you support ICE agents and you think ICE agents should be supported in doing their job, in carrying out their duties? Let me know in the chat. Shout out to Mr. Busky. Speaking about the code and speaking about the snowstorm that was supposed to hit the South, well, in Georgia, some cities in Georgia actually experienced the snowstorm, and it was really not dangerous storms, but it was sort of a lot of snow there for Georgia. But where I was, or where I am rather, there was no snow. It was just rain, and it was raining for maybe like 6 hours. It's cold, but it's not like freezing. Where we currently the weather is at 34 degrees, so it's not like freezing, but it is a little chilly outside. And I hope you guys are safe out there. Okay, stay warm. Here we go.
The hell am I going to do? I got get myself in trouble. No, but she was crying, and I said, "Don't cry. Be happy. Be happy." With the help of the incredible people of Iowa, we're repairing 4 long years of disaster and decline, and we're beginning what will be known as the greatest years in the history of our country. I believe that, too. We are entering a period that will be called the golden age of America. That's what's happening. So together with all of you, and you were with me from the beginning, all 3 times we won by a lot. I don't know if you remember, but before I got involved, this was really a Democrat state. You know that. I don't want to bring it up. And then I came along, and it wasn't a Democrat very long, and our great chairman did such a good job. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, you could do anything. I've offered him, come to Washington, take any position. But he likes it. He just doesn't want to leave. I think you just want to stay in Iowa. I don't blame you. But you are fantastic. But we've won all 3 times by a lot. But this until we came along, this used to be a Democrat state. And then we turned it. Barack Hussein Obama, have you heard of him? He won both times. Didn't he win both? He won twice, you know. Barack Hussein Obama, wonderful president. Really brought people together, didn't he? But Barack Obama won twice, you know, and so everyone said, well, Iowa, you know, they had this down as not winnable, and we won in a landslide. 3 times we won in a landslide. So. Together with all of you, the citizens from all across this incredible, beautiful land, we will make America powerful again. Oh, we've done it. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America.
Of course, there you have it. And he finishes up his speech. We will make America great again. And boom, everybody screams. And YMCA, or what's that song? Blessed to be American, where at least I know I'm free, comes on. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. I just wanted to say, look, you may not like this guy 24/7, or his guts, or how he speaks, or whatnot, his history, or whatever. Okay. But one thing is for sure. Is he efficient? Absolutely. Is he effective? Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. All right. Can he sound crazy sometimes? Absolutely. Okay. He's not a pastor. He's not a reverend. He is the commander in chief, is the president, and he's expected to make very tough decisions sometimes that may require uh, his eccentric abilities to be able to make the right ones. Okay, so uh, I'm. It is what it is. It is what it is. I am glad I voted for President Trump, and if I could again, I would, because I don't think Kamala Harris would have been the best candidate. So I'm sticking to President Trump. All right, depends on what you guys think. But you guys are awesome. God bless you. And for Minnesota as well, whatever you guys think about Minnesota, let me know in the chat. Okay. Let me know in the chat. I do think that both people, ICE agent and protesters, they need to come to the realization that both people are supposed to be working together. Because if you're protesting ICE, then you are basically protecting the people that are supposed to be deported, like criminal illegal aliens in your cities. You're protecting those people if you are protesting against ICE. You see what I mean? Protesting against ICE is protecting those people in your cities. Because now ICE cannot carry out their duties. I saw a video of an ICE agent talking to a lady saying, "We're here to arrest a criminal illegal alien and you are protesting against us. How then do you claim that you love your city?" And the lady was like, "Well, we want to see the warrant. We want to see your warrant." It's like, you want to see the warrant for this criminal child uh offender? What is wrong with people? Let ICE do their job and you move along. You could protest on the side, not blocking ICE vehicles, screaming in front of ICE agents, screaming, yelling, throwing rocks at ICE agents' vehicles. It's not how you're supposed to protest. That is agitating and that is causing chaos and division. You don't want that. Okay? You don't want that. The people and ICE agents are supposed to be cooperating. Same thing with the ICE agent. I do not see why 6 to 7 agents are trying to disarm one civilian and he still got shot. Okay? It is what it is. We got to say it for what it is. I don't support that. Okay? It's either more training is required because I was speaking to someone and I said, well, why would 5 to 7 trained agent disarm one man and that one man still got killed? So maybe these folks are not as trained as they should be, or something is wrong somewhere. Because I don't see a reason why 5 to 7 agents cannot disarm one person without that one person getting killed. So I've also heard that Tom Holman is going to Minnesota, like I said earlier on, and some of the ICE agent would be sent out of Minnesota. So meaning what I'm saying is the same thing some of these people are saying in the ICE facilities when it comes to rankings. It's like, okay, you guys couldn't disarm this guy without killing him or what? You know what I mean? So that part too, we have to talk about it. It is valid, 100% valid. Okay. I support ICE. I think what they're doing is what they should be doing. However, they need to reevaluate the escalation method. I've said this a couple of times. They need to reevaluate the escalation methods. Everything should not be a bullet. Okay. At the end of the day, you want people to get home to their families, to their children, to their spouse, regardless if they're being, you know, unreasonable on a protest ground. But I also heard this person brought uh, a gun to the protest with magazines and stuff like that, which obviously, why are you bringing your gun to your protest? But we live in America and guns are legal if you have your papers. So, and they said he didn't have his documentations for his gun or whatnot. Regardless, this is America. Guns are legal. Okay, guns are legal if you have your papers, documentations, or whatever. So I don't think ICE agent allowing that to happen is a good look for ICE. Okay, but I'm glad Tom Holman is in Minnesota right now and trying to find a solution to it. Because at the end of the day, this is America. You want peace. You don't want, chaos. And that's just the facts. Everybody wants peace. Some people don't want peace, but that's just small amount of people. The majority wants peace. Okay? So, please, please, please. All right? Love your country. Cherish your country. Pray for your country. Support your country. Be a part of your country. Give back to your country. Give back to your country. Support it. And that includes supporting ICE. You should not be protesting against ICE. That is supporting the bad guys. Okay? Now, I'm not saying support everything ICE does, but they are law enforcement. Okay? Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Genesis. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to subscribe. Instead of looking for perfection, seek for consistency. Never give up on yourself. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on God. Believe in yourself. Believe in your dreams. And believe in Almighty God. God is the greatest. Shout out to our members. Dr. Luke the Goat. God bless you. Thank you to Mrs. Goat. God bless you as well. Shout out to Enders. God bless you. Is one of our members as well. And everybody else who is a member, you guys are awesome. Ellie from Chicago, Chirac in the build, and God bless you. I hope you're being warm or staying indoors so you can stay warm. Shout out to you, Ellie. And what else? Shout out to our moderators, Mr. Buski, the Bucket Master. God bless you. Thank you for being here as well. Thank you for the interaction. God bless you. So, Mr. Buski, God bless you. And everybody else who is a moderator. You guys are awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And we will be back here tomorrow. Every day we come here and we talk about what's going on in America. Hopefully, you're going to join me every night. I'll try to do 7 p.m. every night. I think that's a fair time, 7 p.m. So thank you for being here. God bless you. God is the greatest. Don't give up on yourself. Keep fighting. Don't give up. Keep fighting. God loves you. I am your host, Genesis, and I'll see you on the next one.